Hello, long time no see, and in today's video I'm going to do a little health update because I got some incredible news like the last little bit in my healing journey, so I thought I would share with you and hopefully give you some inspiration for your own healing journey. So a month ago I went back to my country, and when I go there I always do all my blood tests because it's so much cheaper than here in Spain. My country is Lithuania, if you don't know where I'm from. And so that's what I did, and I got the best news in the world because I found out that I don't have any more thyroid antibodies, which means that my Hashimoto's is officially in remission. It's gone. My thyroid function became optimal last November, and I made a video that time, shared the good news with you. But at that time I didn't check my thyroid antibodies because I wanted to give my immune system a little bit more time to completely recover and get rid of them. So now it's been a year and a half more or less since the last time I checked my antibody levels, and in the past my anti-thyroglobulin antibodies were always between 4 and 7 times above the limit. I never had the ATBO antibodies, only the anti-thyroglobulin ones, and this time they were at 35. The limit is 100, so anything under 100 is negative for Hashimoto's. Between 100 and 150 is borderline, and mine is 35. So clearly no more Hashimoto's, and I'm literally above the moon. Another great piece of news that I got is that my iron levels are now optimal. And that's all thanks to copper, because I haven't taken any iron at this point since last early autumn, like September, October. And without taking any iron, just with extra copper, I actually managed to get my iron levels exactly where I want them to be. So my iron now is at 31, just above the middle of the range, which is perfect for me. And hemoglobin is at 127, which again is really good because in the past, for the last 2 or 3 years, my hemoglobin was always just under the bottom of the range. So I was slightly anemic. And also my ferritin is at 52, which is optimal for me as well. And ferritin is often linked to low copper. So just taking copper alone, I managed to raise my ferritin a couple of years ago, and since then I've kept it at between 40 something and 50 something, and they're really optimal for my body. At the point of doing this blood test, I've been taking magnesium for a few months, and I had my suspicions that maybe I didn't need any more magnesium, that my body was repleted with it. So I actually got a very clear indication from my blood test that indeed I actually had already too much magnesium, and that happens to me every time. Every time I start taking magnesium for a long time, my potassium levels dive, and when I stop taking magnesium, after a while my potassium climbs up again, and sodium as well. So it's good to know that my magnesium is totally replenished now. I don't need any more of it, and to be honest, I don't need many extra nutrients at all nowadays, which again makes me super happy. Also, recently I did a hair mineral analysis test for the first time. I've always wanted to do it, but I didn't want to spend the money for it. But now I decided to test it out because I really wanted to see what's going on with my zinc and copper levels, whether I was right about the fact that my body needs more copper and less zinc. And also I wanted to check what's happening with my magnesium levels, because as I said, I was suspecting that I was overdosing on magnesium a bit, and the results were seriously interesting. They gave me lots of food for thought. So just like I thought, my body actually has too much magnesium at this point. They say that it's impossible to take too much magnesium because whatever your body doesn't need, it just flushes out. But in my case, it's not true. And I suspect that it's true in the case of a lot of people, especially if you're taking the sorts of magnesium that don't cause loose stools. And the test showed that my magnesium levels are actually nearly 2 times above the optimal level. So way higher than they should be. And because of that, my calcium levels were really high as well, because magnesium dissolves the calcium and helps the body absorb it. So it's basically, I had too much magnesium and calcium. And because of that, my potassium and sodium levels went really low as well. So I think that just by stopping to take extra magnesium, all of these 4 minerals should be perfectly balanced in a few months. I also really wanted to see what was happening with my copper and zinc levels. And just like I thought, my copper levels were actually below the bottom of the range. And bear in mind that hair mineral analysis actually lags by a few months. So whatever mineral levels you see, those are from a few months before. So I started taking copper again a few months ago. So possibly these are the kind of levels from just the beginning of my copper supplementation. So hopefully things are much better by now. And also my zinc levels are optimal, which again is really good to know, because every time I try to take some extra zinc, even if it's a tiny amount, my body obviously protests, and now I know why, because my zinc levels are exactly optimal. They're right in the perfect spot of the range. And another interesting bit of information I got from this hair mineral analysis is that the optimal zinc to copper ratio in the hair should be 8:1, but in my case it's 21:1, so almost 3 times above the limit, which shows that my body at the moment is zinc dominant, which is really not ideal. So just like I suspected, I really don't need any extra zinc at all, and I will just continue working on raising my copper levels. So as you can see, very interesting insight both from my blood test and from hair mineral analysis test. The hair mineral analysis was definitely very interesting, and all the information I read, everything you wrote about me and my health and the kind of health problems I have or have had in the past were literally spot on. And I'm definitely going to repeat the test again in a few months, because I believe it's highly beneficial and very, very informative. And if you are considering yourself, I would definitely highly recommend it. I think it's a great way to know the levels of all of your minerals. So for now, if you're wondering what I'm taking literally just Vitex, just 1 capsule, just a very small maintenance dose, and I'm going to get off it very soon completely. And also 2 milligrams of copper a day. And I've been doing this very, very minimal supplementation regime now for the last few months with very good results, so I'll just continue. So these are my good news. I hope that they inspire you to keep going with your own health journey. Let me know how it's going for you, what kind of challenges you're facing, what kind of successes you've had recently. Let's celebrate our successes, let's share our failures and mistakes, and I'm wishing you lots of healing. So thanks so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next one.